Hey, hello, hello, hello. Sorry, I was getting the music ready there. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a streaming, it's a painting stream. Hello, we're doing it. I am here in a hat because that means it's a Friday and we're chilling out on a Friday, aren't we? Well, I'm a bit. Look, why am I always flustered? I know we're going to stream. I know we're going to do it at a specific time on certain days, and I'm always flustered. I'm always flustered. So, hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. We're painting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles today. We were going to paint my dragon, which is almost ready, but he can't be. We can't do it on stream because he needs to be airbrushed a bit. Hello, Lieberling. Lieberling, I bought the. So Lieberling was very generous and got me the Good Omens special edition book that we were talking about in we were talking about on Discord, and it's on its way. I ordered it. It's on its way. Apparently, it'll be here next week sometime. So when it does, I'll talk about it on stream. I'll show you what it looks like. I would. You've already seen what my other one looked like. That was brilliant. I can't believe I found it in. I've always wanted like a folio edition. I'll show you what I've got. Hang on a second, because this is where it started. Oh my god! Look at my hair. This is why I've got a hat on. This is where it started up here. Look. Oh my god! This is gonna be. This is gonna cause that caused a garbage avalanche. That was a rubbish avalanche. So let me show you this. This is what. So this is my copy of a Nancy Boys, which I've had for so long. Look, you can see that the title has gone from it. So it's Neil Gaiman's A Nancy Boys, but it's a very very special edition. I think so. This is older than. I think it's like 19 years old. So look, it's gorgeous. It's got silver pages here, but the big thing is signed by Neil Gaiman there, and it's one of my prized possessions. So this here it doesn't go anywhere. I've read it, but oh, this is the thing of you. I don't have many of these, so like I have some other things. Like I have a signed copy of Rob Grant's book, which I can't remember, the one from Red Dwarf, but he didn't sign the Red Dwarf one. He signed the one which was like Colony or something. Hey, Phrase, I'm so lost with you, mate. It's easy. Look, Phrase, it's easy. This is why I like it here. It's easier. I don't know where to put this. I'm quite afraid. My cat peed in my bag today, so I was. This might be one of the reasons I'm a little bit flustered. Washington peed in my bag, and I only found out just before I was about to go out. So we were getting ready to go get groceries this morning, and luckily I thought, oh, my bag. Yesterday my bag was a bit heavy. I'll go grab a different bag and that's a bit lighter. And luckily I did, because then when I emptied out the bag, I was like, oh, that smells weird in my bag. It smells like just smells weird. And then my cat had peed in it. So it's now being washed, and luckily I had another bag ready. But now I'm like worried about putting anything down until just in case he does something to it. But yeah, so hello, thank you for joining me here on YouTube. I'm making some changes. You can see there's a bit of mess going on over here. I'm making some changes so it's a little bit more visually appealing here, because if we're going to be having decent, like, again, we need a bit more light and stuff. If we're going to be having decent video, we want it to be bright enough for you to see. We want the quality of the miniatures to be nice. We want the painting to be good. We want it to just be a nice experience for all of us. And personally, Wednesday's stream, though short, I apologize for that, was a bit better for me mentally. So here on Twitch, like it's always like a bit hyper and a bit jumping all over the place, trying to find people are coming in, people leave. It's always a bit weird. Whereas here, I can just chill. We can just talk about what we're talking about. We can get excited about what we're excited about, and we're here because we want to be, not because you're just like trying to. People come in for no reason. Things like that. It's just a bit weird sometimes, and I like it here a lot. So, the Spotify's not working because I haven't set it to be the one that it should be. There you go. The problem is that you have to change your Spotify every time with YouTube. I can't just have it as a source like OBS used to. Anyway, that's the only thing is we don't have all the bells and whistles like Lima Link loves to chuck in a dragon or a goose, or I do miss all that stuff. But at the same time, it's quite nice to have that like chill feel to the stream where people are here to paint, or people are here to talk, or people are here to just chill out, rather than feeling like I gotta always be on. That's quite nice. So yeah, I'll swap over to the painting cam, which I should have fixed, and now which is here, and we'll show you what we're going to be doing today. I think you're going to love it. I do need to, before we do that, bring up my file for it, because at the moment it's basically I have that's not it. Let me see if it's in there. I've got a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles model, but I don't know how it's supposed to look. So I want to make sure that it's in a nice way. It's an adjustment. It is very chill. Well, that's it. I figured that we have it not chill, or we do have it chill. You know, there's like one or the other. Let me see if I can find this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'll show you what I'm painting, and then you can see the model for it. It might just be under. There's this Hellboy with cigar. No, that's not it. Right. Let's see if TMNT. TMNT. There you go. I have got it. Yeah. Right. Here you go. I have to talk to you about the photography. Oh, okay. Tell me. Yeah. Tell me. Definitely tell me about that. Yeah. Absolutely. I want to know all about that. Right. Let's head over to painting so that I can start, and you tell me about the photography, because I love it. I love photography exhibitions. Right, here you go, painting scene. Come on, camera. There you go. Right, that's it, it's adjusted. So, here's the model. I'm going to bring up a picture for me, so I can see it. There you go. And we'll put, there, yes. So, here's the model. It's Donatello, my favorite my favorite mutant turtle. Well, who is yours, first of all? Everyone has a favorite. Mine has always been Donatello. He does machines, so that's what it's a big yes for me. You know, it's a big yes for me. But let me bring up what it's gonna look like when it's done. In theory, where's your screen? There. So in theory, he's gonna look like that. That's what he's gonna look like when he's done. Fingers crossed. Not that I don't really want to stick with that color scheme. That for me, that green is too blue. Like I want it to be more this kind of like, you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, whereas that's too blue. Also, these models I bought way back. I bought them when I first started like really wanting to get into 3D modeling. And you don't know enough about them. I think you'd love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's all about like being comfortable in your own body and stuff. It's a good. They're a big part of my childhood, yeah. So these models, if you print them, are 3 feet tall. Like they're full size. They're so big that. I don't know how you 3D print them. Like I couldn't figure out how, because there's no 3D printer that will print 3D print like that size models in people's houses. Maybe in a company. I don't know. That's a lot of resin. Like it's a lot of resin. So I scaled it all the way down to 30% or 10%. He's very small compared to what he was. We used to have a toy one that could do backflips. Well, there you go. That's it. That's what you want. It's a toy one that can do backflips. And Donatello was always my favourite. He's a techie one, so he's always been my favourite. So, hopefully, in theory, that's what we're going to be painting today. So, I'll scooch across to... We'll get rid of the display capture. We'll go across to the painting. And I'm just going to have that up as my little reference point in the background. But yeah, here he is. So, we'll start with his green skin. It's going to be like a darker green than that. That was a very blue green. Green, like a tealy. Hey, Dead Toothbrush, welcome. So a festival organised in a small town close to where I live. If you help them organise stuff, yeah, good plan, good idea. If you can get involved with this thing, you should. Sorry, I was just moving it so that when I'm not. And in one, there was a kind of retrospective, and there was a picture I took of the event, and I had to. Oh, that's so cool! So it was one of yours. Did you know it was going to be there, or was it just a hey, go? No worries, you're not late. A coach is never late. Did you know it was going to be there, or was it just a really, really nice surprise? Because that seems like something lovely, doesn't it? It's something lovely that it could just happen. We're painting Donatello. I'll just show you all again because we've had 2 new people jump in. Look, here's what we're painting at the moment. This guy, Donatello, him. Your favorite one, the one with the swords, Leonardo, down the bottom there. I have all 4 of these, so that I got all of the files when I bought it. It was like £1.27 for all of them, but they're so big that I can't print them all at the same time. Oh, I am live, aren't I? Yeah, that's weird. My streaming software says I'm not live, but I am. Yeah, and I thought I finally got the courage up to print this guy, to print Donnie, and now he looks like this. So we're at the point where he is going to be painted now. So we're gonna do all his green. We're gonna do. It shouldn't be that hard. The good thing about models like this is they're big things, and they have a lot of the same colors. So we're gonna start with dark green and white. Yeah. So that sounds like a lovely. That phrase. That sounds absolutely lovely. That does. Absolutely lovely. That's a 2. But that's also a 2. This is 2. Is this going to be... Is this going to split on me? Let's see. That has already split on me. This is supposed to be Sable. Yeah, so hello everyone. Thank you for joining me. What a lovely surprise for you. What a lovely... That you didn't know that was going to happen, and then suddenly, boom. Surprising. How's everyone's week been this week? How's it been? Anything interesting happening? Anything good? I was just saying that Liebel very nicely has bought me a copy of Good Omens, like a folio copy, which is in line with the Going Postal that I got from a charity shop yesterday, which was really nice. Because Good Omens was the book that I discovered Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman from. Because I was one of those students who did not like going. I'm not a sporty guy, but also I wasn't really good with friends. I had a lot of issues when I was a kid, and back in those days, we were talking about this on Wednesday. Back in those days, you were bullied for being a geek, and I was bullied all the way through school. So I didn't used to like hanging around with people. I used to just go and find a library and find books and read. And I hadn't ever read. I had Terry Pratchett. This is the weird thing, is I had Terry Pratchett in the house. My mum had bought them, I think, as part of. I don't know if you have this in other countries, but in England we had like book clubs, and you'd get 3 books a month, and sometimes you got to choose them, and sometimes they just send you books, and if you didn't send them back in time, you had to keep them, and they were like books you'd never buy. Look at this. What's going on with that? That's really bad. This is supposed to be like a good brush. And yeah, and we had like the Diggers and Truckers and things, I think it was. Not the Borrowers, because the Borrowers wasn't Terry Pratchett, but Diggers and Truckers. And I actually have never read those books. And then when I was in the library of a new school, it was my secondary school, I'd moved up, feeling quite alone. And I saw a book on a shelf that was Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett, and it turned out to be, and it was Good Omens, and it was the first one I read, and I was from then on I was hooked. I read everything from them, from both. I even directed when I was 16. I directed an amateur dramatics production of a play called Mort, based on the book of the same title from Terry Pratchett. Tomorrow I go to what? Just in case, yeah. Oh, I can't. It's such a lovely surprise, Frey. Such a lovely surprise for you. This colour is always a bit weird over black, but it gets the nice. There's like a nice. When it's dry, it's got like a nice darkness to it, but at the moment it's kind of watery and does this kind of wishy-washiness. Don't like it at this point, but it gets better. But yeah, I think that I'm really glad that geeks have come a long way, because we're getting everything we want. You know, I never thought, even though Neverwhere. So Neverwhere is my favorite Neil Gaiman book of all time. Good Omens means a lot, but Neverwhere, I've got countless copies of Neverwhere. I've got 3 or 4 copies of Neverwhere. Neverwhere is my favorite Neil Gaiman book. It was obviously it was turned into a TV show, and with even Peter Capaldi's in it. I went to sign the papers for your official gender name change. Yes, that's brilliant, Lieberlink. Congratulations, mate. You got to be so glad about that. That's such a big milestone. Did you settle on a name in the end, or are you not going to tell us, or is there just a placeholder? You know, I don't want to make it. I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable. Oh, hello. I'm just trying to see whether there's a bandage on this guy on Donatello's foot, and I want to make sure I get the bandage. I don't get the bandage. I'm not paint it. We're just base coating. I would have done this with an airbrush, but I really do prefer painting with a paintbrush. Just has this a better feel. I feel like I'm in control more. I guess that changes. You know, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. But and this is just base coats, so we can use a crappy big brush for base coats. Not be too worried about it. But that is very great. That is such good news. After all this time, I feel like we've been on this journey with you this whole time, but it's been forever, you know, like you've gone from strength to strength with it. And I love that you went to, you know, you've been doing these regular nights. Finding yourself is hard enough when you're in a body you feel comfortable with, you know, let alone when it's a body that you don't feel comfortable in. So I applaud you for doing it. It must be hard. It must be so hard. And here you are, getting the legal stuff sorted. I picked the one everyone is using. Okay. I might change it later. Yeah, well, you can do that. I didn't know this because I've never done it. But changing your name is actually it's surprisingly easy. It's not surprisingly easy to change all of your details with banks and stuff. It's not surprisingly easy to do that. It's a pain in the ass. But it's surprisingly easy in England to just change your name if you want to, legally. You can do it via post. Log in and do it. I'm thinking of seeing if I can mess with other people by getting their names changed. No, I'm not. That would be the way. But I was quite blown away by how easy it is in England now, and cheap. It's not expensive to just decide that you want to be a different name one day and do it. And then that's your legal name that everyone has to refer to you as. So I will be doing that soon as well. I am obviously legally changing my name. So, but just, we you know, so I'm Purchase Green officially, because right now I'm just Purchase legally. Combination married name. It's not about ownership. Needing a new picture for your ID. It's making it worry about it. I'll be glad when that part. Yeah, that can't be fun at all. But you'd be surprised how fast that stops. You know, like you're gonna go through all this horribleness, and yeah, exactly. It's not the actual thing itself. You've got all this horribleness, like the dysphoria and things like that, and then suddenly it'll be done. You know, suddenly it'll be all done, and that'll be the name on your passport, and that'll be the gender on your passport, and that'll be the name on your driving license. And be amazing. You're gonna feel so good when it's all done. If I'd known how easy it was to change my name, I would have changed my name at university, by the way. I thought it was a lot of hassle. And I've never really liked Chris as a name. Always thought it's really... I've never really thought like it felt like me. That's why I tend to prefer PG or something like that. and but it's all over my back, like I said, and I'm not a fan of hassle, so I would rather just not go with the hassle. But yeah, if I'd known at uni, I would have been like, yep, I'm Reginald Worthington Smythe or something, you know, something crazy. I would have just gone something with absolute, like to the point where the person in the bank was like, this is a joke, right? Like, that's what I would have done. My name is Donatello Raphael Leonardo Michelangelo the First. Just because. Spare 50 quid for my student loan. That's what I would have done. Or changed it to something else. Like Prince, you know, like he did. Changed it to like, I also hate my name, I'm using the names all the time. Yeah, exactly, I prefer it. It's always, also, people, you don't use your name that much in real life. You think you do, but it's rare. Because even with your friends, people are like, oh, come on, mate, and stuff like that. It's not like, Chris, come here. It's very rare that someone uses your real full name. My wife decided to keep her name when we got married, but my family still send cards and things to her with my name. Yeah, exactly. We've had the same thing. Yeah, we've had the same thing. Where we actually know who it's from, depending on whose surname has been used to address. Oh yeah, that'll be my dad. That'll be my dad. He refuses to believe that men can change their surnames when they get married. Yeah, that's him. That's my mum. There you go, that's my mum. It depends on where you live, but they're only allowed to charge 10% of the usual rate if it's a trans person. It's free in Bruges. What's 10% of free? That's great, though. I think it's only 50 quid here. It's not like a crazy... It's not like a big amount. I believe it's only like £50. Yeah, I don't... Go, did you have the same thing where it was like, I don't know why you change your name for getting married. It's not the 1400s. I don't own you. And also, you've had your name for an amount of time. You shouldn't have to restart with my name. But so on that, I do think it's a good idea to have a family name, but it doesn't have to be, and it definitely shouldn't be, the man's name every time. I fully endorse the Spanish way of doing it. So if you don't know, in Spain, what happens is when you get married, you hyphenate automatically, and so you've got all of these, like, or it's not hyphen, it's just one after another. So you've got all these names that are like massive. It's just not easier to change it on the back. Yes, I think it's ridiculous. You don't have all of that, like, faff. So it's just like that's why you get lots of like big long Spanish names, and you choose which ones you want to use. And I think you should do that here. I don't understand why we've got. It's very weird to me when people change their name, especially when people change their names and it erases like their previous identity. Do you know what I mean? Like they were a big, strong person, and then they become like a big personality, or not like I don't mean a celebrity, but you know, and suddenly they've got their husband's name or something. I think, here's my opinion, you should choose a family name. So it should be like, right, we're going to be the Rotterdams. We're going to be the Baker Smythes. You know, like, you should get to choose a name that's more reflective of you two together, but it's a completely different name, you know, like a completely different name. So maybe like lilies are important to you, so you call yourself the lilies. You know what I mean? Like it's not just that it's the man. I think that anyway. This is so when this goes out. By the way, when this goes out, well, after we've done this, we'll have this live stream, and that'll be nice. And then the people watching it after, who are like not part of the chat, will come in to see someone paint a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, and we'll be sitting here and talking about the oppression of women through the years. Imagine trying to trace your family history. Yeah, but then that's, you know, there's records for that. You can do that. It's actually a lot easier to keep up than people think. I am making a big, you can't see this down here, but I'm making a big old mess on my big old mess on my palette. Look at that. What is that? Ridiculous. Oh, you can't see, you can kind of see it off to the side. Again, charity shop, same day as the book. I found a lovely little frame, and then I've put Ramona from Ramona Doodles sent me this tarot card a long time ago. Look at it. It's not a real tarot card, obviously. There isn't an idiot tarot card. She made a special one for putting in her collection of cool hologrammatic shiny deck, and I added that to that. I've been having a little dabble in my family history. Oh yeah, what have you found? A little dunk in the old gene pool, eh? A little dunk in the gene pool. What have you found? Anything interesting? Anything horrific? That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about looking in there and it being like, so, your grandfather was a Nazi. And I think I'd find I've got a very boring family history. I know there's a highwayman in my history at some point. There's a guy who's Scottish, and that's what he did. He was a criminal. I thought that's pretty cool. It does worry me though. Have I got that gene? One day am I just gonna decide that I'm gonna be highwayman? Think I'd be a good highwayman? I traced the military here. Lots of revelations. Like what? You can't just leave us hanging like that, Fraser. You can't be like, I traced the history. Lots of interesting stuff. Anyway, what did you have for breakfast? You could. That's definitely a carrot that you can't dangle and not let us nibble on. Come on, Fraser. Let's nibble on your carrot. Yeah, there was a highwayman in my history. Highwayman. Rich Welsh people. I knew that already. My family come from Mountain Ash, like my mum's family come from Mountain Ash in Wales, which is a really poor area now, but it was a really affluent. But the reason it's a poor area is because it was a really affluent mining town, and then obviously mining, because there's a stop. A dandy highwayman, yeah, if possible. Hey, Volante. Ridicule is nothing to his get, no. No, exactly. Yeah, and when I traced it, obviously it was. So they used to own like the manor house on the hill, and then my aunts, my great aunts, my granddad, my G-Grampses, my great granddad's sisters gambled away all of the money during the Second World War. My nan was evacuated to London. Not to London. Sorry, my nan was evacuated because it's a mining town. But yeah, it was got captured by the Germans. Wow. Did he escape? Did he get out? I don't know. Obviously, I don't know if he did. My great granddad was in the Second World War, and he was a desert rat. So he drove a tank. That's what he did. In India, I believe. Might have been in Africa. It could have been both. To be fair, it's a long time, and they get posted in different areas. He didn't like talking about it. He thought that it was. He hated all the people that like he hated people that made it a thing. He hated the glorification of it, you know. He wanted it to be over, and he hated being reminded of it. And he'd seen some really bad stuff. The information we did get from him was terrifying. Like, you wouldn't want another human being to go through some of the stuff he went through. And yeah, he hated it. He hated being asked about it and stuff. So I didn't talk to him that much. Just asked him about. He told me a lot about westerns. He liked cowboy movies. He was out of the way. Out by the end, one of his brothers got injured during. Wow, in 1916. Jeez. You think that was over 100 years ago now? Yeah, I didn't ever want to talk to him about it because he didn't want to talk about it, but it seemed like he'd been through a lot. There's and another Raja. Wow. So that is very extensive, isn't it? That's an extensive family tree there. Lots of I suppose in Europe you didn't have much of a choice. You were in England. It was like you've got to be conscripted. In Europe, they were like, right, you're German now. You're owned by Germans, and people had to fight for it or against it, and that was it. Jeez. But yeah, it's terrifying. I don't ever want to get dive too deep. I really don't. I haven't looked into my father's side. So my dad's from Cornwall, in England. If you're from a different country, you might not know where that is. But well, he's from Devon, is what I should say. He used to tell me he's from Cornwall, but he's from Devon. He's from Plymouth. And they had down there. They're kind of separate from England quite a bit. They even have their own language and stuff. I think it's Cornish French. It is, isn't it? Cornish is half French. He didn't know. He didn't speak it, but he was very shady about it. But it's meant I've spent a lot of time down in the West Country. By the way, our south of England is known as the West Country. That's how confusing we are. When you say down south, if you're from Manchester, or, if you're from the north in England and you say down south, you don't mean the furthest north. You mean Southampton and Portsmouth. You mean London, which isn't that far down compared to the other places it could be. I found a German document about my great grandmother. Whoa, that's mind blowing. To me, that's mind blowing. To go through that. I mean, I never want to do it. I don't know if I could go do it, but the things that he must have suffered through, horrific. Yeah, I know that my granddad wasn't captured, but I do know that he went through things. Oh, the problem with green is once you start, it's quite hard to know where you have and haven't done while you build up the layers, because green is has got colors in that make it hard to see under this light, and it's such a weird color to paint like this in this much block. You can see I'm building up the muscles and stuff, but it's not we're not going to have any real definition for another layer or two. Also, this model is lovely. I went on an undercoating spree yesterday, and I tried to get a load of stuff done. Because the dragon, look. The dragon needed to be undercoated, so yesterday morning, he is now, look, there he is, he's ready to be painted. But I wanna spray airbrush the scales so it's a nice even color. I think painting it would make it washy and not as good as I want it to be, and I want it to be perfect. So I'm gonna base coat it before we start painting on stream. So never talked about it. Yeah, that's it. I don't know many who really served at war who were right, I really want to talk about this, which is why a lot of them have PTSD. To be fair, Talking about it might have helped. Definitely would have helped. Jesus. Have they tried to give this turtle a 6-pack with a shell? They have. He's got a 6-pack shell. That's right. Thank you, Evil Auntie. I think so too. I love it. Titan Forge made it. Titan Forge is the name of the company that produced the file for it, so they designed it. And they do a pack of elves, like Sylvan elves, that's great. I'll show you in a second. We'll just do this we'll just do this guy, and I'll show you the other ones. And I've got it in my basket, and I just can't afford it, because it's, to get the whole army, it's 120 quid, which is not much for an entire army, but I don't have that. That's big money. Big money. But it's in my basket, so I don't lose it, and so I can look at it prettily. But I will show you what the other models are. And one day, the dream is that I can print it all, get it and print it all, and make a Wood Elf army from it for playing 9th Age and maybe like Fantasy from other editions, other Warhammer that, you know, gone but not forgotten. People still play it every now and then. He's got a lot of like neck. Don't you, mate? You've got a lot of neck going on there. A lot of neck going on there. Speed did not take the colour very well. Boom, boom. Yeah, I really like him. I'm just damning myself with even more green. Green's actually one of the colours that I feel like I can do really well. It's just I need to practice on big areas. Good with smaller areas. Like the rider is over here, and I think I'm going to be fine with it. He's like this big. There's the Dragon Rider, and he's a great little model. Beautiful. And that's going to be great. But on big, it's one of the reasons why I want to do this turtle. So I want to do Donnie, because it'll give me a bit of practice doing larger scale stuff before we head into dragon territory. Yeah. I'll show you in a minute. Boom, boom, boom. I'm being texted by Tom because he doesn't know how to find this link, the link for this on YouTube, which is fine because I'm not very easy to find. So I'm just going to send him a link if you give me a second. When I pause to send him the link, and we'll say, "I'm streaming, mate. What are you doing?" Here you go. Get some green on this guy. Really, we're just adding a little bit of highlight. We're going to do it properly in a second. We just want to get the base coats out. Looks really precise on this minute. Yeah, they're great, aren't they? We talk about this one, or we talk about Titan Forge? Have you gone and looked it up? Right, let's get Tom in here, who doesn't. And then I will show you the miniature. Drink something. Thank you. Oh, it's 44 minutes. Jeez. Right, hang on. Let's copy this over. Copy. Tom. Paste. There you go. Right. So, let me show you this miniature. Ooh, not that. That I'm talking about. Hello, it's Tom. There's Tom. Hello, Tom. Welcome, mate. I was literally just talking about some. So these are the guys that made this. So this is the dragon I'm paying. Trust the process. Yeah, exactly. And look at these guys. They're just gorgeous. Like, thanks for saying that's okay, mate. I was The only reason I saw it is because it pops up on my camera. Is my phone, so it pops up. Thank you for joining us, mate. Yeah, so these are like the other elves that you can get from this same company, and they're just absolutely stunning models that I will be absolutely getting at some point. Not right now. This second, I don't have 120 pounds. They get their bases as well. What was this? Was it the pack 2? So the second one, yeah. So the second one came with the dragon, which I didn't. I just bought the dragon on its own. It was £8 at its own. And you got like the dragon and Way Watchers, and they're just really like lovely models. Look, and I will definitely be getting those at some point in the future. But for now, I do not have the ready cash to spend £120 on STLs, on miniatures. But they're gorgeous. Look, see, there he is. It's my black. There he is. That's what we're painting at the moment. He does come with that base, but I printed it off. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out how to get him onto the base, so I just put him on an oval base, and that worked. But look at them; they're fantastic, absolutely wonderful. I will be at some point getting. Obviously not right now. Right, let's keep painting this turtle. Let's paint the turtle. Painting the turtle. It's not a euphemism. We are actually painting Donatello from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Or at least I hope we are. You start painting something and you're like, I don't know if I'm doing a good job on this. Like you said, you got to trust the process. And you got to hope that at the end, it's not just an absolute monster. Oh yeah, that looks like it's supposed to look. Got a Ghost Rider I need to print off as well at some point, because that guy randomly came in, didn't he, to the stream, and he was like, "Do you want Ghost Rider? Here you go." And I was like, "Oh, all right then, mate." So I've got a Ghost Rider file just on my computer. I missed his muscles here. I've actually missed his whole arm here for any green, let alone the highlight green. Yeah, so how are you doing, Tom? Who was your favourite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Have you actually ever watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was bigger than it is. The amount of people whose favourite, what are everyone's favourite turtles? Like, Donatello is my favourite turtle. But I understand that everyone has their own favourites. But I also understand that it seems like less people watched it than I thought they did. Like, there was me going, everyone's watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'll just talk about that. And everyone's like, nope, mate. Never watched it. In my house, turtles were illegal. That's all you need to know. Also, I'm not sure about some of the musculature. Having never been that close to a turtle. All my friends watched it. I didn't find much of the... Yeah, no, I know you did it, Tom. I think you'd love it now, even. Again, it's got a good message. It's got a good message. The message is, the way to get through any argument is to beat them up. You weren't allowed Captain Planet because it was too violent. I mean, there are parts of that are true, you know. He did just beat the crap out of people. He wasn't like negotiating NATO talks or organising non-violent sit-down protests. Yeah, Donatello's the best. Everyone knows it. He was just beating the hell out of it. His primary powers were like super strength and flying and shooting. But then that was pretty much everyone's way of solving things in the 90s in TV shows, you know. Like, oh no, this person's doing this bad thing. What should we do? Should we call the police? No, let's go punch them in the face until they stop. But what if they come back? We'll just keep punching them. I feel like this isn't the right way to go about this, Batman. You've got so much money. Why don't you reinvest it into the economy here, reinvigorate it, and create jobs for people who feel the need to do crime in order to escape their horrible life? No! Investing in the industry is not cool. I want to punch poor people in the face. I mean, there are some very strong parallels between Elon Musk and Bruce Wayne. You know, just saying. He spent like billions and billions on a giant space station in the sky for his super friends, when that money could have gone towards a hospital on the Earth or a school which wouldn't need employees. No one likes it when you tell people that Bruce Wayne is comic book Elon Musk. Open your eyes, people. Batman wasn't helping. He didn't want to help crime. He just wanted to beat up poor people. I start to think that Batman is not a socialist. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's in it for the people, mate. Batman, there's criminals in the city. What's your answer to it? I'm going to spend millions of dollars on new technology to punch him harder. Do you think that perhaps some kind of rehabilitation program would help? Some way to get people working, like an education thing where they learn job skills while they're doing their time, and then there's a guaranteed workplace afterwards. No, I'm going to build a new jet. All right, Elon Wayne. Sounds like a rapper. Doesn't even outsource those jobs. He's got one mechanic and himself that build everything. So he's taking jobs, if anything. And then he'll punch people through walls, won't he? He'll punch people through walls in his city. Controversial topic of the day. Batman is Elon Musk. You can tell me I'm wrong, by the way, that's allowed. Or to stop saying it so that I don't ruin everything. Ramesh Ranganathan, a stand-up comedian here in the UK, used to have a great joke about it. But I don't think he's ever told it on television, and it was about how Batman was he wanted to be a bat because it was cool, and the best way to fix society would have been to create jobs and rehabilitate people. And he'd say he's even got a man cave full of cool gadgets. Yeah, he does. And he'd say that, you know, it would be you know what, Batman, he's only Batman because fiscally responsible man isn't a cool sounding superhero name. Fiscally responsible man. Invest it back into the economy. No. I'm gonna punch some underprivileged kids. What? Adults. 16 is an adult, right? Oh my god, Batman. A doorstep charity worker. Oh my god. I didn't even know you had those anymore. Here in the... Oh, okay. This is... What you missed is me saying that Batman is basically superhero Elon Musk. Like, he could fix everything by investing back into the economy and creating jobs and rehabilitation programs. I mean, he's got billions and billions. He could literally make everyone in Gotham a millionaire, and that would solve all of Gotham's problems. But he prefers to punch poor people in the face, and no one wants to speak that truth, and that's why Batman is basically super Elon Musk. That's what you missed. But on your topic of charity workers coming to the door, we've currently got quite a bad spate of instead of the worst prison about not even like a good prison with where they could get help, just like he knows it's awful. He knows it's awful because we've all been there in the game and gone through it. It's a nightmare town. We've got quite a bad spate of Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons trying to convert people. They like walk around town saying, "Can I ask you a question?" and stuff. And my reply is always, "Is it about God?" And if they say yes, and I say no, thank you. I don't think he's helping anyone. No, I don't. His parents did more for the city. Oh my god! Now that's what you couldn't. If you said that to Batman, he'd break him. Thomas and Martha Wayne did more than you ever could. Why am I doing it in his voice? It's just him. That's him shouting at himself in the mirror. I just want to punch poor people. Oh my god! You can't say that. But it's the truth. It gets worse than that because there is one timeline in the DC universe where Alfred, Batman's friend and butler, and some would say adopted father. I don't know why the butler got to live to look after the kid. He invented the Joker, so he'd like put on the face paint, put on the wig, and he'd go out and he'd go out and like punch. He'd go and cause crime and stuff because he didn't want Batman to get hurt. So he would fight him, but he knew that he'd never kill him. And he'd hired actors to be like the Riddler and stuff. They weren't real people. They were just like actors. And then it all went wrong because the Riddler shot Batman and killed him. But well, Alfred had pretended to be the Joker. He was the Joker the whole time. That was a timeline. That's something that really happened. My friend made some come in and clean his house so he could think clearly, then kick them out. Jesus, I'm not into like forced work labor, but they're gonna offer. I'm not gonna say no, am I? I'm gonna say no to that. I always get. I don't really like. I don't like any religious. Just pop into the shop, Master Bruce. Do you want anything? Why is it they always show up? You know. Why is it that you're never around when the Joker's around? We aren't the same person. What? We aren't the same person. I didn't say you were. I swear we're not the same person. I didn't say you were. Oh, this is more of a green, and it needs more water in it. Just start straight into... You can see the difference in the colour there. Who brought a little girl with him and tried to get in the door by saying the kid was tired and wanted some water. Oh my god. Isn't there something in there about lying? Surely they can't lie. I mean, they can't have other people's blood, let alone... Does it count if it's... Are they doing God's work? Is that the vibe of that? You know? Jesus. Did you not? What did you say to them? Evil Auntie, what did you say? And also, how did you know it was them? How do you differentiate between real people and Jehovah's Witnesses is what I was about to say. But what I meant was real people who really want water and Jehovah's Witnesses. What's the tell? I'd be so angry if they'd lied to me like that. I'd call the police for trespassing then. By the way, trespassing, not criminal. It's in England. Can't call the police for trespassing. Unless you are threatened by them. Future reference. The smell. If you didn't know that, Mormons are the worst. They believe there was a slasher with good and evil, the angels that side of the evil came as black people. What the hell? Bloody hell. Sorry, mate. That'd be the first thing I'd ask them to explain. I think. Now I know about it. So, War in Heaven. What happened to all those angels? Love to see the look on their face. I'd just like you to explain racism to me. Just very clearly. Explain your racism. Explain it. Oh, we started watching Guardians of the Galaxy 3 last night. We didn't get all the way through it because it was late. Not a fan, really, at the moment. Not a fan. Loved Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Loved Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Loved the holiday special. Not a fan of this third one. Very odd turn for everyone. I understand that there's a bunch, but if you've seen it already, I'm doing spoiler free. I'm not telling you what's happening or what happened, but yeah, very sad. The characters are weird. There's too many of them. What's this? The Romans came around and fought the Native Americans. That's when the golden tablets came from. What is this? Is this also Mormons? Oh my god, mate. You know when you think people can't be that crazy. There's got to be a point at which they know they're mad. Because that's what I believe. That kind of that's what I think religion is really at that kind of level. I'm okay with a bit of religion in the same way I'm okay with any belief as long as it doesn't hurt anyone. But I think that religion is at that point a mental illness. It's something that they're suffering from and they need help, you know? When people are like, oh, you got to respect my religious belief. No, not if they infringe on mine. Absolutely insane. Can't just say things are religious and so I have to let you have them. I can disagree with it. In the same way that I can disagree with science. I can say, oh yeah, I'm going to do my own tests to see if that's real. And then if it isn't, I can say, see, it's not. Yeah, that's it. I can't believe that they think, I didn't know they think that. What's really weird is that I actually know quite a lot about, I didn't know that bit, but I know quite a lot about my Mormons. My best friend, James, who is unfortunately not, they didn't respect my atheism, that's true. Who's no longer with us, unfortunately. He was brought up Mormon, and he told me a lot about what was weird was his family weren't Mormon, and then someone came to the door and talked to his dad, and suddenly they were Mormon. And that was it. That's all that happened. And suddenly they were poorer because they had to give their money to the church, and the dad was obsessed with it and stuff. It was weird. I am not loving how I'm painting this, but I think it's always at the stage where it's like, oh, it looks a bit messy, but it's skin. It's got to look a bit messy. It's got to look a bit messy. It's a little bit cell shaded as well. Interesting side effect. I love the idea of respecting atheism. Gotta respect my atheism. Strong lack of belief. Well, not lack of belief. I'm not an atheist. I am a what's it called? What is it where you don't have a religion? It's like Catholics, if I know. Trust the process. Yeah, thank you very much. Exactly, Lever. Thank you. What's not an atheist, but the other one? Agnostic. Like, I'm not gonna say there's definitely nothing, because I have, but then I'm not, I don't really think that it's healthy to think there's a God and stuff. So I'm not quite there with the old, because my belief, this is, here you go, this is about to lose me some viewers. I have a strong belief in science. Yeah, I've got really science and facts. Hey, that's it. All my Americans gone. No, I'm joking. I've got a really strong belief in science. Like, that's my belief, is if it can be measured, then it's to be believed. So if you can have, like, so radiation, wind, electricity, they're all my beliefs. To be fair, I'm more of a nihilist. Fair enough. I don't think religion helps anyone except to deny their own belief and the progression of humanity in itself, and also deny other people's rights. That's what I think religion does, for the most part. You know, I know people take comfort from it and stuff, but you can get that in other ways. So I don't think you can say, I've always hated when people are like, oh, some people get comfort from religion. Yeah, you get comfort from a therapy group. You can go to a therapy group. You don't need to have, you can do it from martial arts. You can do it from painting. You don't really, I don't need to respect something that also says that black people are devils. You know, like that's the way I think about it. Oh, I got you. So then I think, so my belief is, like, I strongly believe that everything about a person is energy, like electricity in the body. That can be measured. We all are controlled by electrical impulses. And then all that happens after we pass is that energy, as it can't be destroyed, it can only change forms, gets released back into the universe, be that into the universe or into the world, and then is used for other things. So to make a, it goes back into the food chain, and you become part of a baby swan, or part of a tree, or whatever it is. That's your part in the universe. And energy might, like, you might be able to detect energy because your brain does that. It already detects energies in the form of light. I've said this before, you've got more senses than you learn in school. It's like 26, I think. And one of those could be that you can detect where someone died, because you can detect releases of energy in places. Or one of those could be talking to someone's memories, because they're only electrical impulses, and you can do that with tapes, like magnetic resonance tape, like with cassette tapes, just that. And it's just, those things aren't far from being believable, just because science you can probably do it with science. You can be useful to the well-being of society, but no, you pray for a science fiction character. He said exactly. So where I'm not here worshipping an invisible deity, I am open to things like ESP. Not that I think that it's a big thing that people do all the time for Russian governments, but I, as a neurodivergent, can hear and feel electricity in a room. I can feel, we all can. That's part of our diagnosis. You can hear when lights are on. You can hear when televisions are malfunctioning. That's it. That's my thing, is that maybe that's all there is. We just go back into the planet, And maybe sometimes people are a bit more sensitive than others to what used to be a person and what didn't used to be a person, There's my belief. A crazy belief. I just think that I'm not a person who's like, ghosts are real. I'm a person who's like, maybe if someone dies somewhere and that electricity is released into the surrounding area and something really bad happened to them, maybe that energy it has got like the form of that trauma. So maybe that's what goes, you know. Maybe. Everybody in a line of charlatan. Yes, I agree with that, Goat. I've met a lot of mediums in the entertainment industry. I've met a lot of mediums and some larges. I've met a lot of mediums, and none of them have ever made me feel like they're convincing. You know, none of them have ever made me feel like they're convincing. It's always been all like, "Oh, Deirdre, you in the room?" Oh, and it's all bullshit. I think that if someone could talk to the dead, it wouldn't be in words or anything. It would be more like knowing what happened in an area due to the imprint that they made on, you know, like when you sit down and you leave a bum print, like you give off energy all the time, heat, light, electricity. It would be whatever you did, your energy did to the. I'm saying energy too many times, like it's a spiritual thing, but that's not what I mean. I mean, like in a science term, like if I left a light, this daylight bulb on over a book, the book would bleach gradually. That's what I mean. And if there's enough of an energy, it will affect another thing. That's my science thing. I don't trust people who think a big sky daddy is angry at me. Yeah, exactly. Smell, yeah. Smell's not energy though. Smells particles. So you do that anyway. When you die, you definitely smell. I've always thought, right? I've always thought that ghosts are just spiritual farts. That's what ghosts are. Ghosts are. Goats. That's what ghosts are. Spiritual fart. Yeah, like an energy mate, like left lingering in a room. Like you're like, oh, it's not like it's using the fart analogy. Oh my god, we're painting a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle and getting into religion and all that. Using that analogy, if someone farts in a room and leaves, and you come in afterwards, and you can smell that fart, you couldn't tell me who that person was, what their memories were, what, you know, but you could probably tell me if they'd eaten well. Like there were things you could tell me about it, but not everything. I'm not ready to say like, oh yeah, that's what that is. But I think that is a good analogy and what I was trying to get at. You could get some information, but not a lot, and some very specific. I think those are brain glitches, and brains are really weird. Exactly, and different from person to person. So I'm not trying to like poo-poo anyone else's beliefs on that. If you believe in ghosts and stuff, that's fine. I don't not believe in ghosts. I just think that they're probably not people trapped between worlds trying to get a message. Do you know how I know that? Because the messages are always shit. I'm getting this sense we've been crop dusted by the spirit. Yeah. I'm getting the name Darren. Did he eat beans? Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with, like, that's my belief. I'm not expecting you lot to have the same beliefs as me. I'm just saying I've never ever seen anything that makes me go, yeah, that's probably true. It's like, right, so this one might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. So in a while ago, there were recorded incidents of people who were so anemic that they had evolved their stomachs had adapted, not evolved, adapted to be able to get iron from blood. So their bodies would be able to, like, enough iron. I don't mean like everyone can do that, but it was to the point where they were being able to, they, in order to survive, their bodies had been like, right, well, we have to have actual blood in order to survive. And sure, that might be where vampires come from, like the not vampires themselves, but the discussion of them. And it's just always, I always think there's something else behind it, you know? Ghosts, angels, mediums. I don't think they're not 100% real. I think that perhaps the story is very, very different to the one that we've been told. That's it. Oh, bye, Tom. See you later, Tom. I've got to go. Sausage time. Have fun. I actually love ghost stories, though. Yeah, and yeah, I don't. I like them too, but I don't not believe in it. I don't not think. I'm not sitting there going, ghosts aren't real 100%. I'm sitting there going, what it could be is this. It's people having this experience instead of it being the, like, a mosquito's about. Yeah, technically, yeah, and blood sucking bats and stuff. They exist. These things exist. So, and there are records of, I can't remember what kind of, it was like 1800s or something, where these people, they could drink blood and it would, but they had to in order for it to raise their iron levels. But they also make food. They're just normal people. Anyway, I'm gonna look for that now. That's gonna bother me that I can't remember where that's from. I'm gonna stop on the green now because I'm actually really sick of it. I'm gonna do his turtle shell thing on the front. But we do. I don't know if we need to do it with a dark brown. But yeah, I think it's very interesting, and I think that religions often go looking in the supernatural when all they need to do is just have a bit of a lab session, you know, get in there, get their tools out, the proper equipment, the proper recording equipment, and find out what it's all about. Stop faffing. Stop looking at books written by crazy rich white guys, or white guys who want to be rich, and start looking at books written. I enjoy black pudding. Am I a vampire? A little bit, right? We all know what's in it, mate. I can't hear things like black pudding without thinking bam-a-lam. Whoa, black pudding, bam-a-lam. Yeah, I always think that about religion. But that's my belief. I don't know if that makes me crazy. I don't think. Hello, Michael. Welcome. I don't think it's any crazier than any others. I do have a slight bit of a thing where I think the universe balances. And I don't think it balances fairly. I've just gone over the edge. I don't think it balances fairly, but I think it does balance. So where bad things happen to people, I think the universe does try to balance it with good things, but without like a conscious thought. It doesn't do it consciously. It's just, again, that energy thing where it's trying to make sure that the positive and negative energy is the same on either side. And it's really about it, but it's less about, like, what's it called, where I always think of it as like space thought ordering, but it's more like, it's less about imagining you're going to be wealthy, but if you were to, because that's not something the universe understands, but if you're nice and happy and you are nice to people, you will get nice things back eventually, or rather, you're not going to get things back, but people will treat you nicely. You know? I don't think that's always the way, but I do think that it does balance. Just from... in the end. I don't mean like immediately. We're not talking about... It's not a lottery here. But I don't know. I think that's my experience from childhood trauma. Like having stuff happen to you when you're young and realizing you can get over it. So maybe it's less about the universe balancing and more you doing the balancing. But then is that the universe? Yeah, kind of like, I don't think of it. Yeah, karma suggests, though, that it's out of your control. That's what I think. Is that, see, that's the question. Is it you or the universe? But sort of like karma, I just think that karma is too much like, oh, I'll just let that kind of happen and then this good thing will happen. Whereas I think it's more the other way, where if you put a certain type of energy out there, you'll get that back because it'll balance it out. I don't know. Maybe that's not. This is a weird topic for today that I didn't think I would be covering. I'm tempted to do the back brown as well, and then like mix in greens with it. Maybe I'll do the shell brown as well. Oh, a lot of brown. But yeah, karma makes it. Yeah, everything. Nothing. I think everything about it. The karma comedian. We've all heard of it. We've all heard it. So that must mean it's real. I don't mean it like that. I don't, because karma's one of those ones where people are like, don't worry, they'll get their comeuppance. It'll be karma. I think it's more like you can rebalance the scales yourself, and the universe is going to be more likely to let you if you've been doing, if you put the right energy. I don't know. I'm not really trying to be a spiritual guide here. I'm just saying, in my experience, that's probably a better way to do this. In my experience, in life, bad things happen. Awful things. To people who they really don't deserve to happen to. All the time. But eventually, those things are balanced by good things happening to those same people. And often it's because those people have had that bad stuff happen. I've just painted all over my leg. Like all over there. But I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's just life experience. Preach to us, Papa! It could be a life motto, like if you want good things, you have to do good things first. Well, that's it. So my actual life motto, which I have shared on the channel before, is better not worse. Better not worse. In all situations. When you leave life, Papa have glitched the first. So when you get to the end and you're sitting there like in your deathbed or however it happens, the universe and the world needs to be a better place because you're in it, not worse. It doesn't need to be like you don't have to be Mother Teresa. I'm not talking about you've fed millions and millions of people. It's just not. It's just better for you having been in it. Maybe one person is happier. Maybe you planted some trees. Better not worse. But even that's like a life thing. And also that's like a score thing as well. So I'm not saying don't do bad things or don't do questionably moral things, because I'm not saying that I'm saying better overall, not worse. So make sure you do more good things than bad. But I mean it in a macro sense as well. When you leave a room, you should leave it better. You shouldn't have made everyone sad in that room. It should have been, you should be there to cheer them up or give them hope or even give them a bit of information, or better not worse. And if everyone lived like that, the world would be like a really nice place. Better not worse. That's it. Would you be surprised to hear Mother Teresa? No, I actually know that Mother Teresa was a very nice person. Same as Gandhi was an awful paedophile, wasn't he? They're always when religion's involved, they're always weirdos. There's never one where you're like, oh, he was all right. That's good, isn't it? It's always like, oh god, they're all bloody horrible. Is it? Wait. It's basically be kind, rewind. Yeah. No, I don't want it to go backwards. Better, not worse, is an improvement, not a staying still. I'm not a blockbuster. Oh, I can't even reach this bit. It's a bit of shell there that might just stay a dark brown for the rest of it. He's a weirdo now. What a time to be like, he's a weird, but he's old, isn't he? Patton Oswalt has a good bit on it now. That there is you'll be fine. Like your whole life, you'll be fine. I'm just gonna remind myself to clean these brushes this time around because I didn't clean myself. You'll be fine. Like your whole life, you do all these nice things, and then the older you get, the less nice you are, and there's nothing you can do about it. But the Dalai Lama is like proper weird now, isn't he? With his tongue, like licking a kid's tongue and stuff. It's so weird. I can't even like thinking about it is distracting me. But it's Patton Oswalt's bit is that he's a progressive guy. He supports trans rights. He supports equal rights for everyone. He supports every single thing that could be looked at as a progressive issue or could be looked at as an issue we face at the moment. He is on the side of what you'd say was right. And he said, but someday that won't be the case. He'll be up there doing jokes, and he'll do a joke, and he'll be like, I just think it's a bad idea for people to fuck their clones. And people will be like, boo, bigger. Why people should be allowed to fuck their clones? And you just always get, everyone goes weird. There's a point at which you should stop being allowed a social media account as you get older. You just shouldn't be allowed it after a certain point. They should just, you fuck one go. Yeah, my motto is better, not worse. Leave the world better, leave the room better, leave the thing you're doing better, not worse. Leave the company, whatever you do, the conversation, the whatever, better, not worse. Don't be a dick. Why are you being a dick? That's my rule. You fuck one go. You're the one that chose your name, buddy. No one else here chose your name. We haven't called you on it. There's no judgment here. But yeah, that's it. There's my personal life motto. I don't even know if I don't even know if I'm following it myself most of the time. I feel like I make a lot of things work, but I think it's hard to know until you're further along. You can't know until you're older and a bit wiser. And you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to know. Ever. The key is to learn, isn't it? That's it. The key is to learn. And yourself. That's the better, not worse applies to you as well. You don't, when you make a mistake, you correct it. You don't just leave it awful. Oh, it's a lot of water on that. I don't even mean being kind. Like, I always think that people see it as you should be kind and nice. You don't have to be nice. You just have to be not a horrible person, You can make the world better without having to be like a nice person. You just have to make the right decisions, It's why people are... I always get really weird when someone's heralded as a hero for doing like basic stuff. Oh, they're a hero because they donated to a charity. That's what they're for, mate. Be weird if they didn't. Be weird. It's bad when they don't. The need for a charity is terrible. The need for charity is a failure of governance, yeah. them donating to charity doesn't make them a good person. Them donating to charity means that they're doing the right thing. The people not doing it is the problem. But then the people who aren't funding the right medical stuff, they're the ones that are really the enemy. Like, it's always very confusing to me. I always think it's very weird. Oh, they're good because they did this thing. Yeah, but why did they have to do that thing? Are they good, or are they just a normal human being that was doing a normal human being thing? And mine's far better. It is to have a stout heart and always suffer one's share of evils. Mine's far better. It is to have a stout heart always and suffer one's share of evils than to be ever fearing what may happen. Yeah, that is great. That is great. When my students get wobbly about whether or not they're going to keep going, my analogy to them and my message to them is always that in life, you're only ever at the end, no matter who you were, how rich you were, you're only ever a story. You're only ever something to be remembered and something to be talked about around a fire or with friends later on and having a coffee. And at the end, when you're gone, it's your choice whether that story is a big trilogy of ever increasing adventures with various different twists and turns, or if it's a pamphlet that warns people about wasting the opportunities they have. So you get to make that choice when you're older, but it's easier to make it when you're younger and start the books earlier than it is to leave nothing else. I mean, either the other side of that is either you become the book that people look up to, or you become the warning pamphlet that people use as an example. We're all stories that just make it go on. Yeah, that's it. What's the point in a shit story? Splashing on Twitter. I'm never calling it X, Musk. I'm never calling it X. You can go fuck yourself, Elon. There's absolutely no way in hell I'm ever referring to that monster of a site that you've built out of the corpse of Twitter as X. Drink something. Okay. In a second, I'm going to dry brush this with a bit of a yellowy shell colour. Shells are shiny. My said phrase. I'm never calling it X. Never gonna be called X. I only said that because you can't see it, but just over there, my I'm not going to bring Mein Kampf, but go for it. Oh, I see what you mean as the book. Over here is the little speaker with the 8-bit animations that Michael got me, and it just popped up with because I got a Twitter notification. It popped up with Twitter. Well, don't be that book. I mean, there are levels. Don't be that book. Don't be Mein Kampf. I have a really cool brush actually that I'm going to use for this. We're going to do a really good look. This is an old Games Workshop small flat dry brush. Look at this. It's hitted all masters, which I've had forever. I haven't used that much. You can see it's still a good brush. We're going to make a little lighter colour here. I'm going to do a bit of a dry brush on the back. I'm currently a 70s PSA about leaving the cat. I like to think I'm a nice, easy 200-page read. You know, like I'm not I'm not a big old epic like a Hobbit or something. I'm not a. I'm not likely to change the world. I'm not like Malcolm X's um, autobiography. I'm not. I'm not that. But I like to think that I am a Dresden Files, maybe. You know, like I'm a thing you'd pick up to read on the plane because it caught your eye, and you might read the next one if it came out. I was but I'd rather be the Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I see what you mean. I'm hoping that was the case, and you weren't just like, I've got something to tell you. After all this time, here you go. Look, we're doing a dry brush. I don't normally do dry brushes, but there's absolutely no way I was painting each of those bits. It's looking quite nice. We're going to add a little bit of. We're going to take it a little bit lighter, then we're going to add a little bit of cream in there. Yeah, I think I'd be like a Red Dwarf book. I'm back of the shampoo next to the toilet. Something to read. I'm going to read. While you go. We all do it. The thing about shells is they have a lot of colour in them. And it's not just going to be these colours. So I'm going to do this to add a basic shell colour. Then we're going to put some like brown and green inks over the top to get that shine back. I want to keep the shapes, and if I don't do this, the shapes will go a bit light from there. He's more 90s Donatello than he is bad dude Donatello, which is, I think, what they were going for with the skull. I don't know if you are the back of a shampoo bowl. Basically, my goal is eventually that when all is said and done, and my kids are at my funeral, not that I want to die, that's not what I'm saying, but my kids are at my funeral, I want them to be like, here is the story of my dad. Basically, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I might be the user manual of a boring electronic. Which one though? I don't know many boring electronic. I don't know if that's real. Don't get like a boring. They're necessary. You need them to be that way. Otherwise, they'd be really hard to understand. My God, look at my hand. Look, I've got to go to the shop after. Right. Very gently. I do not want a white shell. We want to make it have polished edges and highlight those scratches. And then stick an ink over the top. Make it really like take it down, but keep the highlight. You're putting yourselves down. Build yourselves up. You're more interested in that. You're all more interested in that. By the way, thank you for joining me. I haven't said it today. Thank you very much for joining me. Oh, I didn't do the water. Lima Link told me to drink some water. I didn't do it. Hang on. Sorry, Lima Link. See, look, that's good. Looks like a turtle shell, look. And with an unsatisfactory guessed at by others, yeah. An unsatisfactory ending guessed at by others. Such a good turn of phrase. So I'm just wiping the brush. Get the. If I leave it, it'll be manky. I'm a Gideon Bible. I am left by strangers in any hotel room you've ever been in. And you may glance at me out of boredom, but ultimately we all know that you'd prefer I wasn't there. That's a good one. I don't know why I put them in my mouth. I know that this is a big no-no in the community. He says, aware of the risque terminiverse. Come on! Isn't it? Here you go, look. Now that is a shell. We don't have them anymore, so I would have said one of the ones I was thinking of saying was an old AA map in your dad's car. Used to be relevant, but now will lead you in utterly the wrong direction, and eventually you'll get so lost people will be angry at you. But we don't have those anymore. So look, I think look at that shell. It won't stay like that. Obviously, it's gonna need another. But look, after all of that, hello, it's great. But all that ink's gonna start. Well, I knew this was gonna happen. Seeping down to the bottom here. So we'll do the same thing on the front later when I do that, but without the dry brushing. You can see there's too much ink here. If you're a painter, you should always paint miniatures. You should always don't let the ink pool. You should always ink pool. New superhero. Get it out when you can. Otherwise, you get this hidden monster that's down there. Patty, shiny, yeah, it's shiny. I like it. Well, that's it. The shine will go down a bit, but not by much. So it looks nice at the moment. A tatty page of adult literature left in a bush by a buster, covered in unidentified strain. Also by a stranger, but without which I would have had no sex education. Oh, that's it there. That's you're missing the top. You're missing the top of it. You're missing the best bit of it. That's the problem. Thank goodness for porn goblins. Otherwise, a lot of English boys would never ever have seen. They would have known what sex was. We all learned via those bush goblins. We all learned. Poor goblin. We did. Our sex education in schools. It depends which country you're from. I'll say you can see, by the way. Look at this, all rubbing away. I'm going to need to stick it to a base. I thought I might, but it's all rubbing away on this because I'm touching it. The sex education in UK schools is so bad. It's the worst. Right, you know what? I'm going to call it there for the day because that's drying. I've had a lovely one. We've had a lovely time. There you go. I actually bothered to make a standard screen this time. We've had a lovely time, and it is Friday. I feel like those are just spawned out of thin air. I feel like they might have been put there by a well-meaning person who knew that if they didn't, we wouldn't know how things worked. But then, did we even? After looking at those things, I thought that I'm still not sure. I'm still not sure. Right, it has been absolutely lovely having you here. Thank you very much, you lot. I really appreciate you stopping by. I'll be back Monday, 12 p.m, where we will definitely be painting a dragon. Hopefully I'll have finished Donatello so that I can show him off to you. I've had a lovely, lovely time. I hope you have too. Have a good weekend. I've been Papa Glitch, and the government hid them deliberately. And apparently our new conspiracy theory is that the government has been hid porn in bushes over the 90s, the 80s, 70s, 80s and 90s so that the children of that generation got sex education. That's actually the I'm you know what? I believe it. That's my religion. All right, everyone, have a lovely weekend. I've been Bubba Glitch. You've been fantastic, and I will see you on Monday.